Let's do that. All right. Hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. Welcome those of you that are watching the recording. Excited to share our Gut and Glow program. And Gut and Glow really is about pulling inflammation out of the body. Inflammation is what I've identified as one of the leading causes of all the major diseases that we struggle with here, in the United States and, across the world, honestly. Heart attack, cardiopulmonary, lung disease. When we're talking about Alzheimer's and the diseases of the brain, really, come from inflammation. Diabetes, to name, like one of the big ones that is affected with inflammation, and insulin resistance. The things that start to make us accept, like kind of crappy as a baseline, and it's not acceptable, right? I'm here to really like be the mouthpiece and shout from the rooftops that it's not acceptable. It's not acceptable in our 40s, in our 50s, in our 60s, in our 70s, and well into our 80s and our 90s, right? If you're familiar with the Blue zones is the concept of not only making it to 100, becoming a centurion, but thriving at 100. Okay. And so, getting those pieces right, feeling, like, hey, I've got to get up and go. And I say not for vanity's sake, but more for sanity's sake. So I have prepared a little bit of a presentation, and I guess I should turn my phone off. And I'm going to see here about share screen. Okay. And I'll pull up, and then I'll leave some time at the end for some questions. Okay. Now I tried to do the slideshow, but I think if I hit slideshow, I'm going to lose everybody. So let me try this I'm going to hit slideshow for a second. Let's see what happens. Can you all see this? Can you see my screen? Okay. Woo. Let's see if we got this. Okay. I guess, like for those of you that don't know me, that are on here, based on, advice and referral from a friend, hey, congratulations for actually, caring to invest and taking some time to really understand what nutrient density is, right? My story, this is my studio in Scottsdale, health and wellness studio. This is a little snippet of my studio in Hawaii. This is me and my boys. So, what gets me going, what, lights me up, my life, my kids. As I'd suffered pretty decently as a child with IBS and a lot of gut issues. And really the only solution that I got was like, hey, eat bland, have some toast, drink soup. And I was 8. I was like, okay, thanks, medical community. We didn't have the advancements that we have now. And I think the exciting thing too is that about every 72 days, clinical research is coming out with more and more and more. I mean, and so it's a really exciting time to kind of, take hold. When all of this was going on, it was like, I think I was on my self-help journey like a long time before I even knew that I was. And that's why I ended up going into, fitness and physical fitness, because I knew that was one of the tracks to good health, right? I was like trying to figure out, how to really get myself regulated and have a good body. Unfortunately, like we were of the generation of Jello and Spam. And it's like, that is not the road to good health. I think the good news that I come and I bring to everybody is the mindset that we have $1 million machine, right? We have $1 million machine. And it's like, would you put, if you had this incredible sports car, $1 million, would you put Krispy Kremes in the gas tank? Would you put, the venti, Trenta, sugar loaded, what is it, Frappuccino with chocolate chip mocha whipped cream? Would you put that in the gas tank? If you knew it, like, I mean, I think sometimes the $1 million machines are smarter than we are, because they would be like, and die. And they'd be like, not a chance. do it again, and I'm out of here. It's like, but our bodies, the miracle is not what's going wrong in our bodies, it's all the things that are going right based on what we do to it. So we have a lot of leverage to take advantage of. So just having a lot of gratitude. But for me, it was like, I gotta try to figure this out. So I went for my master's in exercise physiology, started that, moved to Hawaii to finish my master's. And that's really where, like I started, okay, what is this body thing? Like, what are we, and how do we run optimally? Right. And so, there was that portion of it, but it still wasn't dialed in until I really admitted that nutrition has to be a big part of it. And so, we went on a journey after kind of the world shut down to put together full circle wellness, and what does that look like? And that's when our yoga studio in Hawaii turned into a wellness center with naturopaths, with nutrition, with challenges, with physical fitness. And then same thing in Scottsdale. And so now we've really been able to dial it in because of everything going online and drop shipping. We've been able to dial it in so that we can now coach people all over pretty much the world. We can go from Hawaii all the way to Europe. So I'm super excited. Let me see if the space bar, nope, does nothing. Okay, nope, still does nothing. Oh, okay. Um, some of the problems that we're addressing, with our programs, with the Gut and Glow and with the Gut and Glow Challenge, is nutrient deficiency, toxic load, and stress. Nutrient deficiency, we're having a harder time, getting the nutrients from the foods that we want to eat. And Lynn, you heard me say this on Wednesday, is that an apple, from 50 years ago to 100 years ago, we would have to eat 10 today to get the same nutrients out of it. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. Like, so we're looking at when we think we may be getting 5 servings of our greens, we'd have to eat bushels, honestly, in today's age to actually get that, to get the cruciferous greens. And you'll hear me kind of, talk on the benefits of, getting those, deep leafy greens. And I know Tammy and Kevin, you guys went in through, this deep dive in your program on, having, the days where you eat, fruits and vegetables, and having the days where you have protein. And we'll talk about a couple of those things. But nutrient deficiency is what we're facing when we just pick up food from the grocery store. It doesn't, it just, it's not, our soils are depleted. Our foods, even, the GMOs and that kind of stuff, are processed. And so they don't process in our body as well as we would like to. Toxic load being another one of those things. Just, even in air quality, and stress being another, toxin as well, putting us in constant states of inflammation. So when we become chronically inflamed or chronically stressed, for whatever reason, whether it's, the electronics coming at us, we still have so much to learn about what that's going to be doing ocularly and to our nervous system, with toxins. Just understanding that we want to be nutrient dense, that we want to, with this toxic load, be able to detox and drain properly, that our body is really processing that toxic load. And the role that adaptogens play, and the powerful role that adaptogens can play in the process of de-stressing, helping us with our cortisol and epinephrine levels. Cortisol, and epinephrine being adrenaline in the brain. Adrenaline is called adrenaline in the body. Epinephrine is in the brain. So how do we have normal stress levels? Our bodies were made to be stressed. It's a good thing. Freebies: sleep. Sleep. Please get sleep. I can't stress that enough. When we're talking detox, drainage, mental health. I always laugh. I'm like, sleep deprivation is a form of torture. We're all clear on that. You can always put a 1 in the chat if you agree. Yes, yes, and yes. So if you don't get enough sleep, you're increasing the stress hormone, right? You're increasing inflammation. Again, depression, and that's something that we're dealing with as we go more and more isolated and more electronic. We're not getting the boost of dopamine and oxytocin and all the endorphins we get from seeing each other's faces, right? And hanging out in community. So definitely get sleep. That will help. Water, drink. Hello. So your body weight in ounces of water. And I'll give you some, measurements, and all of this stuff will be available as a presentation for you later. I can share this, but your body weight in ounces of water if you're active. So I'm 125 pounds on a good day. So I would be drinking 125 ounces of water. This is 20 ounces. I'm going to drink 5 of these a day, right? And really that also helps with the detox. That helps with the drainage, right? If we can get the body. I always say that the joke is weight loss is a symptom of good health, right? So people are like, I want to lose some weight. Well, and then I'll, if I can lose some weight, I'll get healthy. It's like, no, if you get healthy, you're going to lose weight. So it's actually kind of the flip on that. And how do we do that? How do we get healthy, right? What are we facing? When we're taking a look at, we're the most overfed and undernourished population in history, and that is talking about that nutrient deficiency, are in chronically inflamed states that are not even allowing us to absorb. It's not what you eat, it's what you absorb, right? So the higher cholesterol levels, it's not efficiently turning the food that we eat into energy. Like if you think about the gas tank, it's like this, your incredible $1 million sports car. If you're putting stuff in the gas tank, it's supposed to be for energy, okay? High cholesterol, high triglycerides. Triglycerides are actually energy. It's fat energy. Triglycerides are stored in your fat. When we need energy, we can pull it from the fat, right? If we have too much energy stores, those triglycerides just sit there. They just sit there. They never get converted into energy, right? Protein is for energy. Sugar is for energy. Fat is for energy. Like that's what we're doing when we eat. We eat for energy. We've completely flipped what food is for, right? And so high cholesterol is a lack of turning fat into energy because we have high triglycerides. It's just sitting there. It's not converting. We're not moving enough and we're consuming too much. And we're not processing correctly because inflammation is stopping it. So I pulled some of the facts. This is, from the CDC statistics, and it's a couple years old. They're coming out with some of the newer stuff, but, heart disease, and this is for the United States, cancer being the number one. COVID is a viral, infection. Obviously, we can't do anything about, the AD, the accidental death and all that stuff. But, strokes, chronic lower respiratory diseases, Alzheimer's, again, a disease of inflammation that is showing to be reversible. Okay, with good sources of vitamin D and omegas, and then diabetes. All right, getting into the fun science of it. And this is where we have our program. I think part of it too is simple. Like I need simple, right? Pharma does a world of success because they've dialed in the simplicity piece. You take a pill, right? Unfortunately, it's not natural. So there's probably more side effects than benefits. And that's what we're finding in as we move along, right? I mean, I was laughing because has anybody seen that? I don't know what the drug was, but they listed, they have everybody frolicking and playing, and then there's listing all of the side effects while you're watching beautiful visuals of people happy and having fun. And it's like, and Linda, I know we were talking about this. It's like, may cause sudden death. It was like, what? It's like may cause, compulsive gambling. And I was like, wait, how is that even a side effect? That's a thing? Like compulsive gambling. So I digress. But pharma wins because they got simple. You can take it with you, get up and go. I'm a mom. I own businesses. I have kids. I'm working on, reinventing what healthcare looks like, exciting, in this field with our challenges in our program. So it's like if I can't put it in my purse and go, it's not happening. Okay. Naturopathy has natural, right? They've got natural dialed in. Okay. They've got what's, highly absorbable. Bioavailable is a fun term like that. So, is it bioavailable? Is it absorbable? Is it bioidentical, right? They've got natural dialed in. But as far as simple, I'm not going to say yes. It's on the rather complicated side. It's like take this licorice, boil it to 185 degrees, take this supplement, add this supplement, go here. Sorry, you lost me at boil something at 185 degrees. It's like if I have to run a mile, joggle oranges, train a monkey, not going to happen. Like it's just that's where, so what we're trying to do here is make it really digestible, fast facts, simple and natural. And that's what our 30-day is. And I'll go through some of the stuff. Why we're including greens in here is because when we have highly absorbable cruciferous greens, fancy term, say cruciferous like 10 times fast. Kev, I challenge you and Tammy to say cruciferous 10 times fast. Is because in our phytonutrients and our phytonutrition, we are finding massive antioxidant, anti-inflammatory properties. Okay. Some of the science here, I've listed it, and I've also listed the good things: broccoli, cabbage, kale, Brussels sprouts. Okay. I don't know why. I guess I put broccoli twice because, broccoli sprouts is what that's supposed to say. So broccoli sprouts are huge in sulforaphanes. Sulforaphanes being the ingredient that helps us detox, drain, pull inflammation. Okay, NRF2 is the fancy term, that pathway that helps us at a cellular level clean out. Okay, cleaning out, and it's also like they're showing multiple sclerosis. Alzheimer's, right? Diseases of the brain, right? Glutathione, if you're familiar with glutathione, people are getting like the glutathione IVs. They're doing that because through that NRF2 pathway with sulforaphanes, glucogenesis, I can throw out all these crazy terms that, maybe it's just won't. But it's cleaning out our cells, making the DNA, the building blocks of our bodies, right, work again. And it's insane. So super, super excited. And breaking down those free radicals, breaking down the things that create inflammation. Then there's also pre and probiotics in our greens. Okay, there's fiber, right, in our fruits. And so making sure the pre and probiotic is getting our gut right. And that's part of what we're doing with the Gut and Glow. And without, I could sit here and probably talk for about 3 hours about our gut microbiome. And thank goodness it's kind of that fun buzzword these days, because in our gut is considered our second brain, right? And being able to go back and forth between our gut and our brain with things like serotonin. They're noticing that high levels of autism in males. And I say males because it's just what the studies have been, studying. We don't have an abundance of studies with, like the female population yet. But what they're noticing, autism in males, serotonin is stuck in the gut. It's not the neural pathways aren't talking to each other. So making sure you're getting you're getting your gut microbiome right with your greens, with your fruits, with your vegetables, particularly, some greens, particularly some adaptogens, and then particularly with what they have as far as prebiotics and probiotics. Prebiotics, asparagus, and another one in our green product is moringa. Moringa is a very, very, very powerful prebiotic. It feeds the good gut flora and the probiotics, right? So that they can do their work. There's actually saying, and I think the last clinical trial I was reading was saying that it's potential that we have more cells in our gut than anywhere else in our body. So it truly is its own living thing. So, understanding the power of greens and protein, right? Protein and thermogenesis. Um, Protein, we're noticing lean muscle mass. So, clinical research is showing, that we at from 30 on, we're losing a tremendous amount, but it can be gained well into our, they were studying between 80 and 88-year-olds that are gaining lean muscle mass, right? 2 times as much visceral fat loss, right? We have, the protein, and not all proteins created equal, right? But it's understanding there's so much information out there. It's like, which greens do I get? Which proteins are actually good? What are the ingredients that I need? Having the science, we've done the research. So we've taken the last better part of 3 years and really digested, what are the ingredients? And so information on protein, understanding from natural sources and supplementation that 1 gram of protein per 1 pound of body weight. So again, like with the water, 1 ounce per 1 pound, I'm 125 pounds. I would want to be getting 125 grams of protein. Salmon, a 4-ounce salmon steak, has 20 grams of protein, as well as incredible omegas, which I'll be getting to. But having salmon, protein pacing is another word to be on the lookout for. And if you want to write that down, look up protein pacing. It's a fancy term for saying, you can digest, 20 to 30 grams of protein, in an hour. So protein pace every 4 hours, especially for men, creating and keeping muscle density every 4 hours, having protein sources, right? Understanding what protein sources are clean, what protein sources are bioavailable, and what protein sources are absorbable, right? So that's a big one. Let's see. Yep. And just the lean muscle mass generally contributes to about, 50% of our total body weight, right? But it decreases in age. It's starting at about age 30, actually. And by the time, 75 and 80, if we're not conscientious about it, we've lost 50% of it. We go down to 25%. So, just good information. We are regenerating. We do regenerate. The brain regenerates. Neurotransmitters regenerate. They grow. We continue to grow, which is really cool. Part of the gut microbiome is collagen. A lot of people are flocking to collagen for the hair, skin, and nails. Let me tell you this, you get your gut right, you're going to get your skin right. You're going to glow again. The skin is the biggest organ in our body, and it's a reflection of our internal biome, right? And I've got a lot of estheticians that are now, don't know where my voice is, hello, that are now on board with making sure that their clients are getting their insides right, because they're doing $1,000 procedures, dermablations, fillers, all of these things that women are flocking to them for. Hey, guys, flock as well. But they're let's say growing a conscience, because they're saying, listen, I can do this month after month after month, but if you don't get your insides right, you're just going to keep coming to me. You're just going to keep getting these treatments that are treating the surface. They're treating the symptoms. They're not treating the problem. The problem is within. The minute you get the within right, everything else starts to glow and feel pretty good too, less aching. Marine collagen is considered the most bioavailable to our bodies. It's most bioidentical, and also it's a type 1 collagen. So that's 90% of what our body is made of is a type 1. There's all sorts of different types of collagen. This particular one, why we landed on this collagen, there's a couple of different reasons. They decrease with oxygen exposure. So they're single little bottles that you just drink and down. Doesn't taste like fish in a blender. Has vitamin C and some juices and stuff that make it much more absorbable. But one of the cool things on this one, and we have clinical research on all of our products, is that 100% of the subjects saw an increased collagen level. 100%. I don't think, there's many things out there that can say every single person saw and a positive effect from the, whatever clinical trial that they were in. So that's really cool. Elasticity, wrinkles, hyperpigmentation. I speak to the vanity of people because that's what they, this is the obvious. When you start to see wrinkles decrease and what have you, it's the obvious. It's like, oh, okay, that's an obvious marker of success. So we include the collagen, other ingredients, as far as vitamin C and zinc help with absorption. The amino acids, and biotin is another, very powerful. So let me see where I'm at on time. How am I doing? All right. Okay. Keep it going. Omegas, like I alluded to a little bit, and I can't speak enough to how powerful omegas are. It's, and how we're not getting enough. We're not getting enough. I think the statistic was that we are about 80% deficient in omegas. Omegas, a fun fact, our brain is mostly fat. So if you call somebody a fathead, take it as a compliment. Or if somebody calls you a fathead, get excited because they're like, yeah, I am. And it's, attention, mood, joints, muscle retention, blood pressure, triglycerides again. There's those triglycerides turning our fat into energy, cancers. Just if you want to reduce inflammation, you want to make sure you're taking omegas. There's different types of omega. There's, DHA, EPA, ALA, and, some that come from natural sources. But again, we're losing the absorption rates in our natural sources. Farm-raised salmon, try to avoid it. Natural salmon, try to get it. Different things. There's walnuts, but I don't want to tell you how many walnuts you'd actually need to eat to get the daily recommended dose. It might cause constipation, so don't do it. I did want to run back for one moment on the protein. One thing with protein powders, and let me see here. I'm going to click forward because maybe I didn't even hit on it yet. Okay, I'll chat on the protein for just a moment. Is that when I'm talking about 1 gram per 1 pound of body weight, and I mentioned this in the live presentation, is that if you increase protein levels too quickly, you can be at risk of gout or constipation, right? Stopping up the system. So, the protein pacing also helps people start to increase naturally. And I'll tell you this, it's really hard to get that much protein in, right? It's really hard to and without supplementation. And I think, really that's what I'm really excited, because supplementation also helps make it easy. And then once we teach people basically how to fish, instead of giving them fish, then you can go out on your own and be like, oh, do you want to do a protein pacing day today? Oh, here's the things that here's my green drink, until I understand, what cruciferous greens are good, how to cook them, how to massage my kale, how to have broccoli with mustard seed powder and Kerrygold butter on it, until you start to really slow, small steps done consistently over time to change habits, right? We just can't change everything all at once. So these are the simple steps in the first 30 days that start making the next 60 and 90 and 5 years and 7 years and 10 years far more possible. So sustainable, right? When we're talking about solutions. And this is where we're headed. I don't want you to have to do this program for 20 years, right? I want to teach you in the next coming months how to do this for yourself, and then be on your own and maybe pay forward to others what we're learning here as really the first of hopefully many thousands of people that get to be affected in such a positive way. So 22% easier to start when there's goals, right? 50% easier when there's a system in place. We don't rise to the level of our goals. We fall to the level of our systems, right? So if we don't have the proper system in place and somebody helping us and holding our hand, we're going to be like, yeah, good idea, great goal, I'm out. And that's why most of resolutions fail, right? Because there isn't a plan in place. And then we are 78% more likely when we do it as a group. And this is just the psychology behind it. And what we're battling a lot is here. What kills our highway to where we want to go are the habits on the way and the hurdles on the way. Those are that's what stops us. So how do we, how do we become, hurdle free? Um, or, like hurdlers. Sorry, I'm cracking myself up. Um, is by doing it together. So I want to show you some of the physical results. This is a girlfriend of mine on the left, Vivian. She has her aerial studio in my studio in Scottsdale. So she runs aerial programs, hammocks, silks, the pole, all of these fun modalities. And you can see how concave and how, kind of sick she was here. And then what after, this was 30 days, right? I think she's even got little baby hairs growing, which is really, really cool. This down here is Susan Miller. She's in her 60s, right? You can see, and it looks like the lighting has changed, but it hasn't. It's the pigmentation in her skin, right? That's just glow, and just, to speak to the younger kids. So just seeing that, again, I'm grateful because the 20 and 30 and 40 somethings are really jumping on the bandwagon with this stuff, men included. So that's super exciting. Inflammation. So this top one here in the black outfit, that's me. This was my gut. This was me inflamed. This is me, and, better. I don't even have my current picture now. It just feels good. I feel good. Like the gut is gone, and so are all the symptoms that go along with it. This is my skin. This is 60 days. Mostly what I love is the neck. I get excited. I'm not crepey anymore in my neck. Hands. This is my husband, Jeff. You can see the inflammation pulled out of him. He actually is leaner. And one of our friends, Kushbu, she's a physician's assistant. She's a PA. In San Fran, you can see her gut inflammation is gone. So that's what I get really excited about, because it's everybody. Everybody sees something happen, and that's really cool, because we're restoring homeostasis. We're giving people better energy. We're promoting, mentally and talking about having sleep, having water, increased detoxification and health. And our program is the group coaching. It's the advice and the motivation. There's little videos. I have a 2-minute video recorded of me at the studio making a smoothie, so you know how to make a protein shake that doesn't taste like dog food. And it comes with everything that ships to your door, which is the greens, the omegas, protein. I say protein powder, and I hate to say that sometimes because some people think like Ensure or some of the other programs that have protein powders, but they're not like whole food meal replacements. Ours are macro and micronutrient dense. So we have that, and the marine collagen. So you drink a marine collagen, you pop an omega, you drink a green drink throughout the day, and you have one smoothie, right? And then once you've put premium stuff in the gas tank, go out and do the other things. It's not restrictive. That's another mindset trick that we do. We're not restricting, okay? Because when people start to feel restricted, they start to feel resentful, okay? And that actually just defeats the purpose because then we're raising cortisol levels. So I hope that science kind of makes sense. It's a cyclical thing, and that's why we yo-yo, right? We're here. My big word is sustainability. I want people to get it here so that they get it here so that they go out and get it everywhere. So, let me see if I can take that and to question. So I'm going to stop sharing and open it up to any questions. I'm also going to do this because I wanted to add the link in the comments, but I can also, what I'll do is I'll text everybody the link to the order form. Maybe one of the main questions is how much it costs. So our 30-day Gut+Glow program is $339. And let me add here chat. Let me do I was looking to see where the chat was. Chat. There we go. Let me put this in the chat. That's the order form. So you can always click on that and I can text that to everybody. And it really just is like, hey, do you want chocolate or do you want vanilla for your, for your meal replacement shakes? And okay, so any questions on everything? I just kind of really zoomed through a lot of science. Yeah, Tammy, go ahead.
So what is the food program? Like, what can you eat? Do you eat normally or
Yep.
do you have to adjust anything?
Yeah, no, this is awesome. I love this. So ideally, for breakfast, you can actually have your smoothie as a meal replacement for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, just depending on your life. So here's the other part of it too, is I want people to feel like, normal lifestyle. Again, not restrictive. Ideally, yeah, don't eat pizza for the other 2 meals. But I do have a whole list of meal suggestions, recipes, snacks, all of that stuff as options, right? But we're talking about sustainable lifestyles, so I don't want people to feel like they're changing too much too quickly. 1 meal replacement shake a day at whatever, you want to do, breakfast, lunch, or dinner, depending on, like if you're going out with friends for lunch, well, then do it for dinner. If you're going out, for dinner, do it for breakfast or, etc. So that, take the omega, particularly with food, because omegas are more absorbable when you have food. And so all of these things are coached along the way. Every day we're putting into a WhatsApp group, and then we give you all the information. Like every morning there's a little tidbit of information to gain knowledge from, whether it's mindset, whether it's habit. So did I answer your question?
Yeah. One other question. So can you have a glass of wine every day
Yep,
or
you
okay.
sure can. I had a girl that she was not giving up her Dom Perignon. I was like, hey, if it's what fulfills your life, I'm going to give you some of the science behind, 1 glass versus 1 bottle. There is a thing in the tenets of the blue zones, and I don't know if everybody's familiar with blue zones. In the tenets of blue zones, that they say a glass of wine at 5, the reds. So Kevin, you're right, you're winning the reds. Just, because there again, there's some properties in there that are anti-inflammatory.
Okay.
But yes, like I said, not restrictive. It's about, hey, you've got this $1 million machine, put the good stuff in it first, and then go do the rest of the stuff until your mind starts to shift. Because I'll tell you, once you really get the idea that you got $1 million machine, I promise you'll think twice putting something in your mouth, put something in that machine that's not good for it. You will slow over time. I mean, 6 months, 8 months, 6 years. You will slow over time, get it. You'll be like, oh, whoa, wait, why would I even consider drinking a soda? You know what I mean? I've got $1 million machine. No, thank you. I'm good. What else? Lynn, nice to see your face. Oh, I can't hear you. You're muted. Here. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I said I was getting ready to play tennis, so I'm headed out the door in a few minutes, but this is great.
Amazing. Any other questions? Alicia, I love your hair too, by the way. When I do that, I'm like, this is not my natural hair color anymore.
Thank you very much. No, no questions. That was very informative. Thank you.
Heck yeah. Okay. Well, I'll be following up. I'll shoot you the link to the form. I'll tell you this with the order form, I'll be able to get you the free shipping. The program that we do too, I want everyone to know this, is guaranteed. Right? If you go 25 days in and you're like, this is dog food, I think this is ridiculous, not working, you get a refund. I guarantee this program, right? I guarantee that you will see something, or, you know, so I feel really good about that, that nobody is out anything, that they really have an opportunity to try. So that's it. You guys are amazing. Thank you for being in the test pilot of this program and my new business. Thank you. Thank you. My family thanks you. Super excited to see where we're headed.
We're going from what time to what time?
Oh. And that is it. Mwah.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye. See you soon.